For the next week, we are going to be getting Heatran in Legendary Raid Battles, and it's going to be coming with a brand new move, and this is something you should definitely not ignore. I'm going to be talking about how you can defeat this boss in this video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day, and welcome to today's Pokemon Go Raid Guide video. Today we're going to be covering the legendary Pokemon Heatran. The Pokemon Go community has often seen this Pokemon as kind of an easy throwaway boss, and it's mainly because it's not necessarily meta in any way, but it is extremely easy to defeat. So a lot of players use it to farm up rare candies and rare candy XL, and they don't necessarily care about getting a 100% or even a Shundo. But let me tell you, there is a brand new move that this Pokemon is receiving, and it actually might make it a little bit more relevant. I'm going to be talking about that later on in this video, but first, let's talk about how you can defeat this boss. Heatran is a Fire and Steel type legendary Pokemon. This gives it a double weakness to ground types and a regular weakness to fighting and water types. It has a plethora of resistances, so you will want to avoid bringing bug types, fairy types, grass types, ice types, poison types, steel types, dragon types, flying types, psychic types, and normal types. Any move that you use with these typings are going to deal significantly less damage against Heatran, so only bring ground types. Just think of Heatran as like another Nihilego. If you want perfect IVs of Heatran, which you probably will because it's pretty good for the Master League, you will want one that is 2145 and 2681 if it is weather boosted. And Heatran is going to be weather boosted by sunny weather and snowy weather. Now, Heatran is actually a really easy boss, as long as you're bringing the right counters. Now, if you have a full team stacked with ground types, you really do not need that many trainers up against this boss. It's considered one of the easier raid bosses in the game, and it's mainly because it has a low amount of health and pretty medium defense, and of course it has that double weakness to ground. But if you want a very secure win, you can go with a raid group of about 5 trainers that have Pokemon that are at least level 35. But if you want to challenge yourself, you could definitely duo this raid boss, just make sure both of you are bringing ground types. Speaking of which, here are the best counters. Just like Nihilego, Heatran is going to be primarily taken down with ground types. So that means Primal Groudon is definitely going to be a standout, but you could also use Mega Swampert with ground type attacks. That's also going to be really effective. Now, Heatran is also going to be a great boss for trying out Shadow Garchomp. If you happen to have yourself a really good one, you should definitely invest in it because it's going to be really strong against this boss. But of course, there's also Shadow Mamoswine, but you'll just want to be careful because any fire type attack is going to be effective against Mamoswine. And of course, regular Groudons and Landorus Terrian form are also great options as well. Now of course, Shadow Pokemon and Legendary Pokemon are extremely difficult to max out, so you could go with these budget options as well. Specifically, regular Garchomp, Rhyperior, Excadrill, and Mamoswine, all with ground type attacks, are going to be really strong against Heatran. So there you have it. That's how you can defeat Heatran in raid battles. Now, real quick, let's talk about how significant this new move is going to be for this Pokemon. Heatran is now going to be able to have the fire type charge attack Magma Storm. This move is going to be the fire version of Surf. It's going to deal a decent amount of damage at very low energy. It's going to be mainly for PvP, but even then, I don't necessarily know if it's going to make Heatran that much better. Ultimately, it's a decent upgrade for Heatran, but it's just not going to be enough to make it meta. It's actually a pretty decent fire type charge attack, but unfortunately it is also Heatran's signature move, so we won't be able to see it on other fire types. But for Heatran, it's going to be a bit of an upgrade. So if you're lacking in really good fire types in your collection, then getting yourself a good Heatran might be a good alternative until you do get a good fire type. In terms of fire types, there's always going to be better options, like some of the starters with Blast Burn or even Reshiram with fire type attacks. Those Pokemon are always going to out DPS Heatran, but Heatran does have some niche uses, especially in the Master League, especially because it does have a plethora of different resistances, so it could be a nice little pocket pick as long as your opponents are not bringing any ground types. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it for this raid guide video. Now, leave your thoughts regarding Heatran down below. Was there a tip on how you can defeat Heatran that I completely missed? Are you actually aiming to get this Pokemon? Definitely share all those thoughts in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video and found it to be informative, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then do consider checking out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list, no matter how much you contribute. So if you want to interact with me in some way within Pokemon Go, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch y'all later.